working to connect a region of over 600 million bridges between our lands.
And welcome to ASEAN in Focus. We're coming to you live from Manila and Cambodia. Hello, Crystal.
Hi, Alma. Good afternoon, and to all our online viewers. I am Crystal Ann Ballesteros from your EBC Cambodia Bureau, bringing you the news of the dynamic ASEAN region.
On today's headlines. More than a dozen heads of state and government from Jordan, Malaysia late Monday summoned Beijing's envoy to the Southeast Asian country in protest after Chinese vessels entered its maritime economic zone in the disputed South China Sea.
Ousted Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyis' health has suffered from her frequent appearances before a court run by the military junta that deposed her government.
President Duterte on Monday said he made the right decision to retire from politics.
Indonesia will reopen the resort island of Bali to select international travelers next week, a senior minister said, after the pandemic starved the holiday hotspot of one of its primary sources of income.
Now to the news. Malaysia late Monday summoned Beijing's envoy to the Southeast Asian country in protest after Chinese vessels entered its maritime economic zone in the disputed South China Sea. Kuala Lumpur summoned Chinese Ambassador Yang Yuqing to convey Malaysia's position and protest against the presence and activities of Chinese vessels, including a survey vessel in Malaysia's exclusive economic zone, according to the Foreign Ministry in a statement. The ministry accused China of going against local and international law with the presence of its ships off the coast of Sabah and Sarawak states on the Malaysian part of Borneo Island. Monday's move was the second time this year Malaysia had summoned Beijing's envoy to protest Chinese activity related to the hotly contested waters. In June, Malaysia scrambled fighter jets to intercept 16 Chinese military aircraft that appeared off Borneo over the South China Sea, where it has overlapping territorial claims with Beijing. Malaysia accused China of breaching its sovereignty, while Beijing said the flight was routine training. Malaysia-China relations are usually warm but have been ruffled by recent tension-raising incidents over the sea, which is home to key shipping lanes and is believed to harbor rich oil and gas deposits.
Malaysia's foreign minister expressed disappointment Monday at Myanmar's failure to cooperate with an ASEAN envoy, warning that the country's junta chief could be excluded from an upcoming summit of the bloc. And I quote, "We are disappointed that the Myanmar authorities have not cooperated with the special envoy of the ASEAN on Myanmar," end of quote. Malaysian Foreign Minister Saifuddin Abdullah said on Twitter, "Unless there is progress, it would be difficult to have the chairman of the SAC at the ASEAN summit." He added, referring to Myanmar's junta chief, Min Aung Hlaing. Leaders of the Southeast Asian bloc are due to hold a summit at the end of October. The Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, has been under pressure to address a February coup in Myanmar and subsequent crackdown on dissent that has killed more than 1,100 people. Members of the 10-nation group have pushed for an end to the troubles, with a Bruneian official chosen as an envoy due to visit Myanmar to meet with the opposing factions. Brunei's second foreign minister, Eriwan Yusof, was chosen as the envoy in August after months of negotiations, but Myanmar has yet to give details of his planned visit.
In a related news, ousted Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyis' health has suffered from her frequent appearances before a court run by military junta that deposed her government, that according to her lawyer on Monday. Suu Kyi went on trial in June, 4 months after she was taken into custody in a coup that plunged the country into turmoil. The 76-year-old faces a raft of charges from sedition to illegally importing walkie-talkies, which could see her jailed for decades. She applied for hearings to take place every 2 weeks instead of weekly on the grounds of her health, according to her lawyer, Hin Mong Zhao, after her latest court appearance. After new corruption charges were brought against her last week, the Nobel laureate now must appear most weekdays at a courtroom in the military-built Naypyidaw. The trial had left Suu Kyi feeling strained, King Mong Zhao said, without offering more details. He added that the judge would make a decision on her request next week.
Meanwhile, in the Philippines, President Rodrigo Duterte on Monday issued a stern warning to political warlords and the New People's Army to stay out of the May 2022 elections. And he would not think twice about using the police and military to ensure orderly polls. Let's take a look.
And I will just also coordinate with the COMELEC. And I will not allow fraud, tapos yung mga tigas-tigas. May mga ano dyan, lalo na yung matagal na sa politika. Political warlords na may mga armas. Pagka ganon ang gawin mo, you terrorize the... Pati kayong mga NPA, huwag kayong sumali. You are fighting another cause. It's a losing one. Pero huwag kayong makialam dito sa election by at saka yung drug money. Malaman namin yan. Kung magtatapon ka ng pera, magbili ka ng boto, 1,000, 1 boto, titignan ka namin. Hindi ako mainggit na presidente na ako. Mag-retire na nga eh. Pero gusto ko na bago ako umalis, makatikim lang man ang Pilipino na malinis na eleksyon. I'm especially Mindanao. I am appealing to the leaders, both sa lahat ng tribo, na huwag kayong kasi I said, if you do not follow a peaceful path in the elections, papuntahan ko kayo ng army pati police. Disarmahan lahat ng tao, kulungin ka.
And the Commission on Elections, or COMELEC, earlier backed up Duterte's call to ensure violence-free elections.
In other news, the president also on Monday said he made the right decision to retire from politics. He made this remark in reaction to the drop in his satisfaction numbers based on his latest social weather station survey results. The SWS poll results showed that the president's satisfaction rating dropped by 17 percentage points from a peak of plus 79% net rating in the November 2020 survey to a plus 62% net rating in the latest survey in June 2021. Take a look.
Bagamat sinasabi po nila na bumaba daw ang satisfaction rating, they conveniently forgot na bagamat ang 62 po ay mas mababa sa 72, ito po ay very good pa rin, and it is unprecedented for any president.
It's still good, but I think it's time. There's always a time for everything. Even if you get a 64 rating, may panahon-panahon ang buhay. So, sa palagay ko, tama yung ginawa ko.
Meanwhile, the president also expressed confidence that his former longtime aide, Senator Christopher Bongo, is the best person to help the next president continue his legacy and build on their gains, especially in terms of providing basic services to healthcare, education, and other social services for the people. He lauded Senator Go for establishing malasakit centers when he was still special assistant to the president and helping facilitate its enactment into law as a senator. Malasakit centers, which are meant to complement the Republic Act number 11223 or Universal Healthcare Law, serve as a one-step for easy access to medical and financial assistance needed to receive healthcare centers.
Meanwhile, Philippine celebrity Mayor Isco on Monday formally registered as presidential candidate in the 2022 national elections, joining a crowded field that includes boxing legend and Senator Manny Pacquiao. Let's take a look.
Tanggapin niyo po ang aplikasyon ko. Buong kababaang loob. Ako po ay tumatakbong Pangulo ng bansa at aplikante ninyo. We are too divisive and indecisive that cause the stunting of our economy on top of the pandemic. Now, mga kababayan, bigyan niyo po ako ng pagkakataon paghilumin natin ang ating bansa para sa magandang kinabukasan na ating inaasam.
Mayor Isco's life has been an open book. He and his nanay Chayong live as an informal settlers in the slums of Tondo, Manila. Working as a basurero, the young Isco knew what it was to be dirt poor. But his being poor did not become a hindrance to his going to school and finishing high school. After he became a counselor in 1998, Councilor Isco took the advice of his mentor and second father, Vice Mayor Danny Lacuna, and to finish college, which he did 6 years later. Mayor Isco and his vice presidential candidate, Dr. Willie Ong, filed their respective COCs before 12 noon on Monday. President Duterte said he issued a memorandum formally barring cabinet officials from attending the Senate hearings on the government's controversial deal with pharmaceutical firm Pharmally. Let's take a look.
I have issued a memorandum. This memorandum because we cannot allow blatant disrespect of resource persons at the ongoing hearings of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee. Gordon, you are not God and you cannot play God. No. You cannot continue this hearing till kingdom come. You are not a senator forever, and the time of reckoning will come. You and the Senate cannot compromise the government's COVID-19 response by getting agency leaders tied up for so long at your beck and call. Again, if you think you have enough evidence against Pharmally to support your allegations go ahead and file cases. Hindi, nagkulang kayo ng respeto eh. That's the problem. Nagkulang kayo ng respeto. You can have projections before hearing kung sino yung taong na gusto ninyong tawagan at you can schedule, maybe after 2 witnesses, you can call Galvez and Duque for something na kailangan ninyong malaman. Pero kung tawagin ninyo, paupuin lang ninyo doon, parang nilalaro lang ninyo kami, nagkulang kayo ng respeto.
Meanwhile, President Duterte also on Monday said he was pleased by the prompt response of Commission on Audit or COA Chair Michael Aguinaldo over the former's request to audit the finances of the Philippine Red Cross. Let's listen in.
I am pleased to learn about the prompt response of COA Chairman Michael Aguinaldo to our call to audit the Philippine Red Cross. Sabi ni Gordon, hindi pwedeng audit yung Red Cross. But tinawagan ko well, of course, through channels, tinawagan ko si Chairman Aguinaldo, and he has signed a memorandum dated September 23, 2021. He directed all sector heads, directors and OICs of COAS, central and regional offices, and all others concerned to submit to the Fraud Audit Office Special Services sector a compilation of their audit findings per sector on the subsidies and or fund transfer received and utilized by PRC covering from a period of January 2016 to September 2021, and to submit a duly signed summary schedule of subsidies and or funds received by PRC on the same period. This is really a very welcome development, and I commend our Solicitor General for his quick as well as his COA Chairman Aguinaldo for paving the way for the long overdue audit of the Philippine Red Cross.
Now, he also reminded COA to act on a notice of disallowance it sent to Gordon or Senator Richard Gordon over funds allegedly misused when he was still chair of the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority or SBMA. Last week, the president ordered Executive Secretary Salvador Medaldea to draft a document that would order cabinet officials to ignore the panel's summons. He also said he will order the Philippine National Police or PNP and the Armed Forces of the Philippines not to cooperate with the Senate if it threatened to hold in contempt members of the cabinet who do not show up at their hearings. If Senator Gordon continued to overstep his jurisdiction, the president warned that there may be a brewing constitutional crisis caused by opposing positions from the executive and legislative branches of the government.
The pilot pediatric vaccination in the National Capital Region or NCR will be done through phases, citing the approved guidelines for the pediatric age group vaccination to begin on October 15. Department of Health or DOH Secretary Francisco Duque III on Monday said the inoculation of 15 to 17 years old will be done first, followed by the 12 to 14 years followed by the 12 to 14 years group. Parental or guardian consent is needed before a minor can receive a shot, while the vaccination will be piloted in selected NCR hospitals to closely monitor the possible adverse effects. Let's take a look.
Para lang ma-check ni Secretary Duque kung tamang sinasabi ko, kinakailangan consent ng magulang, kinakailangan consent ng doktor para dun sa mga may comorbidity. Si Secretary Duque po.
Dagdag ko lang doon sa sinabi ni Spokes, no? Yung listahan ng comorbidities, ito na-establish na natin. So, ito po galing sa Philippine Pediatric Society and the Philippine Pediatric Infectious Disease Society of the Philippines. So, yung mga 12 po ito, no? Medical complexity, genetic conditions, neurologic conditions, metabolic and endocrine disorders, cardiovascular diseases, obesity, HIV infection, tuberculosis, chronic respiratory disease, renal disorders, hepatobiliary conditions, and immunocompromise due to disease or treatment. So ito po, dapat ay matukoy kung alin ba dito ang mga bata na naapektuhan at ito po ang magiging isa sa mga batayan for the rollout of the pediatric vaccination.
Initial natin sa pilot natin is more or less mga mga ilang libo lang muna for the meantime, and then obserbahan po natin pagka once na nakita natin na wala siyang mga tinatawag na side effects, adverse effect, major adverse effect, ay itutuloy po natin yon. Kasi ang gagawin po natin to, talaga po gagawin po natin sa mga bata para sa kaalaman po ng lahat, na gagawin po natin talagang phased, closely monitored, at saka talagang sequential ang gagawin po natin. So, nagkakaroon po kami ng tinatawag na continuous research also, yung mga ginagawang vaccination ng mga different countries. At sinabi nga po ni Charles D'Affaire, Heather Berabia, sabi nga niya na doon sa US, ang dami nilang nabakunahan na 12 to 17 at wala po siyang narinig na nagkakaroon ng major side effects.
There you go. That's good to hear. And ASEAN in Focus, we'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
Ano sa palagay nyo? Abangan! Simula October 18, Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 8 hanggang alas 10 ng umaga. Mapapanood sa Net25 TV, Facebook page and YouTube channel. Mapapakinggan din sa DZEC 1062 at Eagle FM 95.5.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business.
Your weekly dose of entrepreneurial inspiration
to update you on the latest developments in the world of business. Get up close and personal with CEOs and thought leaders to help you discover valuable insights, sharpen your instincts for smart decision-making with the latest markets and economic trends, disruptive ideas, global innovation,
social entrepreneurship,
and other leading-edge business ideas. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business, from vision to action.
Welcome back. Tropical Depression Lani will bring moderate to heavy rains over Palawan, including Calamian and Puyo Islands, according to Pag-asa today. In its 5 a.m. bulletin, the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Services Administration said that Lani was last tracked 90 kilometers northwest of Puyo, Palawan, or 70 kilometers south-southeast of Coron, also in Palawan. Lani is packing maximum sustained winds of 45 kilometers per hour near the center and gusts of up to 55 kilometers per hour. Tropical Cyclone Wind Signal number 1 has been hoisted over the southwestern portion of Romblon, the southern portion of Oriental Mindoro, the southern portion of Occidental Mindoro, and the northern portion of Palawan, including Calamian and Puyo Islands. In the Visayas, meanwhile, signal number 1 was also hoisted over Antique and the western portion of Aklan, which includes Madalag, Malinao, Ibajay, Nabas, Malay, and Baruanga. Now, these areas will experience strong breeze to near gale conditions and occasional gusts. Light to moderate, with at times heavy rains are likely over Metro Manila, Western Visayas, Bicol region, Calabarzon, Central Luzon, and the rest of Mimaropa. Continuous rains may cause scattered flooding and landslides, according to Pag-asa.
Heavy rains brought on by tropical storm Dayanmu have flooded ancient ruins and temples in Thailand's southern Ayutthaya, about 60 kilometers or 40 miles north of Bangkok.
In Vietnam, the Department of Immigration, under the Ministry of Public Security, on Monday issued a notice on automatic extension of stay for foreigners stranded in Vietnam due to COVID-19. Now, accordingly, foreigners who entered Vietnam on visa waivers, e-visas, or tourist visas from March 1st, 2020 are entitled to automatic stay extension until the end of this month, or October 31, and can depart from Vietnam without having to apply for stay extension. And for those who entered Vietnam before March 1st last year, the same automatic stay extension until October 31 can be considered, subject to provision of proof that the person was stranded in Vietnam due to COVID-19, accompanied by a diplomatic note with Vietnamese translation from relevant diplomatic missions, or a written document from relevant Vietnamese authorities confirming that the person was required to undergo mandatory quarantine or treatment for COVID-19 or advice of other force majeure. The person is required to present the diplomatic note or written document on departure from Vietnam. During automatic stay extension period, foreigners shall be required to complete temporary residence and health status declaration.
Endangered turtles have been found scattered off the Malaysian part of wildlife officials found the green turtles Friday during patrols near the city of Semporna in Sabah state. They also found sacks of suspected turtle meat, a stove, and a knife at the scene. Sabah Wildlife Department Director Agustin Tuga said efforts are ongoing to catch the perpetrators but none have bested. It is a crime in Malaysia to target protected turtles, punishable by jail terms and fines. The department said such crimes in the area are usually committed by the Bahaw Laut, a community of sea-dwelling nomads who typically live on boats off Borneo. The massive island is shared between Malaysia, Indonesia, and Brunei. Green turtles are one of the largest sea turtles and are classified as endangered by protection group the International Union for Conservation of Nature, or IUCN. They face multiple threats, including being targeted by poachers, caught in fishing gear, and having their eggs harvested.
In other news, the Philippine National Police's search and rescue operation capabilities got a boost after it received almost 39 million pesos worth of disaster response equipment from Japan. PNP Chief General Guillermo Eleazar, together with the Department of the Interior and Local Government, or DILG Undersecretary Bernardo Flores Jr., personally accepted the donation from Japanese Ambassador to Manila, Kazuhiko Koshikawa, in Camp Crame on Monday. The donated vehicles and equipment amounting to 38,944,564 pesos includes 3 rescue vehicles, water purifier, portable, movable toilet, collapsible tent, lighting apparatus, lifeboat, personal rescue equipment, and search sound detector intended for search and rescue operations. The donation is part of Japan's non-project grant aid for the provision of Japanese disaster reduction equipment and is funded by the Japanese government's Economic and Social Development Program worth 2.5 billion yen, around 1.1 billion pesos. And these equipment are expected to contribute to saving more lives and reducing the cost and recovery time in the aftermath of calamities. And we go back to Vietnam, where the island of Phuc will start to welcome foreign visitors. When? Let's find out from Ralph Wandolf Empire, joining us live from Vietnam. Hello, Ralph.
Hi there, Alva. According to local authorities in Can Giang Province, Phuc City in southern Vietnam will receive international visitors with COVID-19 vaccination certificates, often called vaccine passports, in late November. The province and the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism have agreed that the island city will welcome back foreign travelers late next month. That's according to Nguyen Lu Trung, the deputy chairman of the provincial administration. Chung said that the reopening of Phuc to international visitors with vaccine passports will take place in accordance with the government-approved pilot scheme, while a specific plan is expected to be announced on Tuesday. However, the exact date for the island's official reopening will depend on some prerequisites, including COVID-19 vaccination coverage, the official said. The deputy chairman further added that currently they are mobilizing all resources to urgently vaccinate Phuc people so that all residents will get at least 1 jab after October 5. When the island achieves the required coverage, the province will seek the Prime Minister's approval to organize 1 to 3 flights to bring foreign tourists to the island as a rehearsal before the pilot plan is launched. During the execution of this plan, slated to last for 6 months, Phuc is expected to only welcome international visitors who come from charter flights and package tours organized by travel agencies. Such foreign guests will be served separately during their experiencing tourism products in Phuc without contacting local residents to prevent coronavirus transmission, Trung further added. Back to you, Alma.
All right, thank you very much. That looks like a lovely island, Phuc. Have you been there?
It is, Alma, and you're very much welcome to visit Phuc since you're fully vaccinated. All right, but before I go, Alma, I would like to take this opportunity to greet my friend, Jem Pamularcano. A happy birthday. Hope you have a wonderful time.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Alma. Reporting live from Da Nang, Vietnam, I am Ralph Panto of Empire. We live in interesting times.
Meanwhile, Indonesia will reopen the resort island of Bali to select international travelers next week, a senior minister said after the pandemic starved the holiday hotspot of one of its primary sources of income. The island's Boracay International Airport will be open to international travelers from South Korea, China, Japan, the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, and New Zealand as of October 14. Maritime and Investment Minister Luhut Panjaitan told a press conference. The partial reopening, however, does not include Australia, a key source of tourists before the pandemic. Panjaitan said Boracay Airport in Bali will open internationally on 14th of October this year, as long as it meets the provisions and requirements regarding quarantine, COVID-19 test, and the readiness of the task force. He did not elaborate if tourists will be eligible to visit the island or if only those with a residence permit could come. All international travelers will be required to have proof of hotel booked for a quarantine of at least 8 days at their own expense. But it remained unclear what other restrictions may apply beyond that. Indonesia was devastated by the highly contagious Delta variant of the virus, and in mid-July, it recorded over 56,000 new COVID cases in just one day. But case numbers are now falling as the government ramps up vaccinations, with the country reporting 922 new COVID-19 cases and 88 deaths on Monday. Authorities have begun a steady easing of restrictions as the country sees a decrease in daily confirmed COVID cases and deaths, including in Bali. Malls, movie theaters, and offices in most cities have begun reopening and reduced capacity, and some schools have begun partial offline learning.
Meanwhile, Phuket has become the first province in Thailand to implement a new injection method of administering a third COVID-19 booster vaccine that is under the skin instead of into the muscle. The third dose booster shots will be administered as subdermal injections. Let's find out more from Ian Celada from our EBC Thailand Bureau. Hello, Ian. Go ahead.
The island of Phuket has kicked off its campaign of administration of booster shot under the skin or subcutaneous method. According to the healthline.com, subcutaneous injection is a method of administering medication under the skin or just into the tissue between the skin and the muscle. The Phuket health officials have decided to put this into practice on September 24 as based on their research, it developed higher rate of immunity and most especially, it carries less side effects. This really sounds interesting as some people had headache, fever, or body pain when they received the Sinovac vaccine in June this year. Instead of typical 30 minutes observation of the side effects, this under-the-skin method will be observed only for 10 to 15 minutes following the administration of jab. This method also allows the health officials to maximize the doses of vaccine so they can distribute to many people in the island. According to the Thai news, Phuket is the only province in Thailand with an 80 to 100% vaccination rate, the highest vaccination rate in Thailand, as it's the pilot area for the Phuket Sunbug scheme that welcomes fully vaccinated international tourists.
Katatapos lang po ng vaccine namin para sa booster. So yung proseso ngayon parang ang bilis po na nag-fill out lang tapos dire-diretso na. Tapos andun na rin kasing record namin. So parang ngayon wala nang check ng blood pressure, mga ganun po. So nung pagdating dun sa vaccine area, mararamdaman mo talaga yung pain nung pagtusok ng injection kumpara sa previous vaccine namin. So thankful din na nagkaroon kami ng ganitong booster.
Kung magpabaksin kayo, mas okay, more safe sa kahit saan ka magpunta. Tapos, makakuha ka ng book, you can travel everywhere. Punta ka, walang problema. Kahit dito sa buong Thailand, easy.
During this COVID battle, staying safe and protecting ourselves will be the most important decision that we can make for us, for our families, and the society. Reporting from Phuket, Thailand, this is Ian Silada, and we live in interesting times.
Meanwhile, a total of 43,332 public and private establishments nationwide or in the Philippines have been issued safety seal certifications, an assurance to the public that health protocols are put in place amid the quarantine restrictions. The Safety Seal Certification Program indicates the compliance of establishments to the minimum public health standards, or MPHS, set by the government. In a news release issued Tuesday, Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez said the certification program is beneficial to the country's recovering economy as it boosts the confidence of consumers in going out and patronizing business in the new normal, with the assurance that a business establishment is compliant with health protocols. He encouraged more businesses to adopt the seal as an effective measure in curbing the spread of the COVID-19 virus. More news are coming as Alma and I will be right back.
As long as the stars shine down from the heaven, long as the rivers run to the sea, I'll never get over you.
Hello everyone, this is Natasha of DOU at meron akong tutuparin na isang letter sender request ngayong linggo, October 10 sa Letters and Music 1 to 2 p.m. dito lamang sa Net25. Kita-kits tayo!
Welcome back. The local stock barometer started the week higher as overseas investors continue to worry about China's real estate developer Evergrande issue, but the peso ended the day sideways against the greenback. Luis Limingan, Regional Capital Development Corporation head of sales, said Philippine shares were traded higher as investors sought refuge from regions being sold down due to the Evergrande debacle. Limingan said among the factors that will play as part in the week's equities trading include U.S. trade balance, data jobless, claims report, and unemployment rate. He added that onshore factors are the September inflation report and the August industrial production data. The Philippine Stock Exchange Index rose by 0.54% or 37.29 points to 6,960.89 points.
Meanwhile, Globe Telecom said on Monday it is accelerating its 5G initiatives to increase adoption rates in the Philippines as it aims to help the country become more competitive in the region. Globe Chief Commercial Officer Isa Guevara Cabrera said 5G will enable to the Philippines to become more competitive in Asia Pacific given its potential in powering up various industries through digital transformation, aside from providing consumers faster internet speeds. Cabrera cited a YouGov report titled International Telco Report 2021, Consumer Adoption of 5G, which indicated that Asia Pacific countries lead the way in 5G adoption and use. The report covered 18,803 respondents in 17 countries in North America, Europe, and Asia. Globally, 61 countries, including Philippines, now have access to commercial 5G.
Meanwhile, staying in the country, the Philippine Stock Exchange on Monday said it does not sell cryptocurrencies and warned the public against dealing with individuals selling blockchain digital currency products using the Bursa's name. In an advisory, the PSE said it received reports that a certain individual who claims that she is a member of a new trading project team the exchange created to sell blockchain digital currency, and that the PSE has allegedly worked with several banks around the world for the product. It offers a stable income of 20% to 30% per day, promising a monthly income of between $1,000 to $2,000 US. After convincing the would-be victim, the individual will direct them to a link to register their own account, after which they will assign a professional tutor to show them the succeeding steps. Now, PSE President Ramon Monzon said, quote, the PSE reiterates that it does not sell cryptocurrencies and that its employees or agents don't promote for purposes of investment any specific stock, investment instrument, or cryptocurrency. He said the PSE reminds the investing public to exercise prudence and due diligence in dealing with social media accounts that purportedly offer investments and represent themselves as employees or agents of the exchange.
And for our last news, Filipino healthcare workers or HCWS bound for the United Kingdom will soon get better protection under a new bilateral agreement to be signed by the Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE. DOLE Secretary Silvestre H. Bello III will meet with British Minister for Asia Amanda Milling on Friday to sign a new Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU. Let's take a look.
The Philippines, by authority of the President, Secretary Bebot Bello will sign the bilateral Memorandum of Understanding with the British government for the deployment of healthcare workers to the United Kingdom of Great Britain. The details in the para po sa detalye na lalamanin ng MOU, you will get the details po sa Friday once it is signed by the Secretary of Labor, Secretary Bebot Bello, and the British Minister for Asia, the Right Honorable Amanda Milling, Member of Parliament.
The MOU was supposed to be signed last month with Bello going to the UK, but was postponed when some labor officials were exposed to COVID-19. The accord will be signed after the government earlier exempted the UK from the deployment cap for HCWS. The Philippine Overseas Employment Administration, or POEA, imposed the deployment cap to ensure the country will have a sufficient pool of HCWS for the country's COVID-19 response.
Thank you, Crystal, for keeping me company always here on ASEAN in Focus. Keep safe.
You too, Alma. And that's the latest news in the ASEAN region. Thank you for joining us today here in ASEAN in Focus. This is Crystal Ann Ballesteros from your EBC Cambodia Bureau, and we live in interesting times.
And we'll see you back tomorrow, same place, same time, here in ASEAN in Focus. I'm Alma Angeles. We live in interesting times.
Posibleng palawigin ni Pangulong